Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 272 of the On Air Advocate. Where at the On Air Advocate, we look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I am super excited if you are joining us here bright and early this Monday morning, or if you are catching this on the replay. Now, as always, if you think any of the content that we are talking about this morning could be relevant for anyone in your network or your circle, please hit the share button and share the love with others. Well, if you guys have been following us on social media, you know we have been doing little spotlights this whole month on mental health awareness. And I am so excited to have for the first time here to the show, Erin Browning. She is a breathwork facilitator and Ayurvedic
Close enough.
She's going to tell us the word. Health counselor. Welcome, Erin.
Hi, Tammy. It is really great to be here and connect with you and your audience. Let me first start and say I admire the diversity of the work you do. Your podcast is it is so inclusive to so many people who need support. So inclusive. And so given that, what I intend to do today, I'm going to tell you about my work and I'm going to tell you who I am, but I'm also going to tell you a personal story that I think will impact everyone's ability to put their mental health as a top priority during Mental Health Awareness Month. And that personal story is really the thread that connects us all. So it doesn't matter what the diagnosis is or the difficulty you're dealing with. We all have those, and we all have those personal stories, that thread of humanity that connect us. So that is where I want to discuss with your audience today.
Well, I am excited to have you here for the first time, and you are going to explain to us any words that I don't know what they are, that I haven't heard of, because actually this is the first time that I'm learning about that. So I am all ears today for you to share with us these experiences and, this different forward thinking of how we can truly put our mental wellness first in all the things that we do. But before that, can you kind of bring us in a little bit more about your background, your story, and your journey?
So about a decade ago, I became a woman on a mission, and I was traveling the country teaching to medical professionals and to the nation's educators. And so I was doing this in the form of continuing education. And I had all these medical professionals in front of me talking about neurodiversity, talking about age-related changes. And what I realized was everybody was so busy taking care of the people in their lives, they weren't taking care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And so this was about a decade ago. And then my mission shifted gear a bit. And so it is still to educate people. But at this point, I know it is critical for people to have tools to get in front of their stress. And so I use Ayurveda, which we'll talk about. It's ancient Indian medicine, and breathing are two of the ways that I really kind of pull that together. But that is my mission in this world. And so I do that through one-on-one work, but I also travel and I teach to larger groups for more impact.
Well, whether now or possibly later, after you tell us a little bit more about your background story and your own personal journey, this whole getting in front of your stress thing.
I'll tell you what that means. So I hear that. What does it mean? Get in front of your stress. People say, how's that different from just stress management?
Right.
And so what get in front of your stress means is, what are you doing proactively every single day so that you essentially change the vessel that you are? Life brings us all through rough waters. We are going to experience those to varying degrees in our life. And what are the things you are doing proactively on a day-to-day basis that changes the way we process, the way we take in those experiences? And this is a key Ayurvedic concept. How are we digesting what we experience? So in the tradition of Ayurveda, you don't just digest your food, you digest every interaction, everything you do. So if you are a parent of a kid with special needs and you go to the IEP meeting, you have to digest everything that team is telling you about your child. And how, so my concept of getting in front of your stress is, how are we changing this vessel of you?
Taking it all in.
Yeah, it's more of an internal versus external approach.
Yes. But that is so true. You know, our environment and the people we surround ourselves with and all the things that we hear and intake in the day so affect
everything.
Everything. And our definitely our mindset on a daily basis of the space we're going to put ourselves in. And I would love to, as we go on in this interview, learn some of your tools, strategies, foundations that you use to really keep that mindset as clear and pure as, possible, getting rid of some of that stress and negativity.
Yeah. So here's where I was this time last year. This is my story. Okay. This time last year, I had a blended family. I had a partner, a significant other, and he has a son who is 16, and he has ADHD, and we were trying to navigate a rough year of high school where we didn't feel like the school understood him. He didn't understand the school. It was tough. It felt like a really tough year. And so we were getting through all of that. And then December 7th came. And so I thought I was really stressed. I thought, it's a pandemic. I was actually working part-time in a hospital in the middle of a pandemic, dealing with this home stress and like, how are we navigating all of this? And then December 7th came, and Dave, my significant other, and I had a beautiful meal together. We went out to Mexican dinner and we came home and we had a lovely, wonderful, connected evening. And then he had a massive heart attack and he died. And it was one of those moments in life where you think you know something and then the rug's pulled, right?
Right. Oh
so I thought I had stress.
Right. And so you thought you did, and this just took everything to the next level.
Yes. And I know everyone's had those. It may not be this, it may not be a death, although there's been a tremendous amount of loss in the past year in our world. But lots of things happen. And then it's like, oh, what happened? So my nervous system went from living in this like mild state of tension because life was tense to like full blown done. Nervous system said, I'm collapsing. Actually, it wasn't quite that simple. It was, I'm going to go for a run in the morning, and then I'm going to sleep all day, and then I'm going to scream and cry because I had this massive tragedy really to deal with. But the blessing of that, and this is why I'm here, is because it became so crystal clear to me that the work I had done in the past decade for myself, for my family, because they all got to participate in Ayurveda too, whether they wanted to or not. It really was a saving grace. That continual, everyday, choice by choice, self-care, mental health first, that had happened for a good amount of time in my life, laid a foundation that I didn't know I needed. I thought it was tough. And then I was like, oh, wait. So my body just started gravitating into some of the foundational methods that I had been practicing.
Wow. And that is so true. Sometimes, when we're in the storm, we can't see our way out,
Nope.
Truly, so many of the things that happen to us set us up for that next chapter.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so what I realized is that this foundation had 3 key pieces. And the first of those was that it's rooted in Ayurveda for me personally. And now I'll tell you about Ayurveda.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How long has that been around? And, what are all of the principles behind it?
Yeah. So Ayurveda is the most ancient documented medical system in our world. It's from India. It is ancient Indian medicine. And some of it is so simple. It's not easy, but it's so simple. It's like we've lost a lot of wisdom. So really, the essence of Ayurveda is this. We come into the world a certain way. We come in with a certain makeup. And then stuff happens over time. And it's like the layers of an onion, right? So over time, we have all these layers that add on and add on and add on. And if you practice Ayurveda, then you start to have clarity of these layers just being peeled away, and you can get back to the essence of who you were. You know, when you were 3 years old and you didn't have a care in the world and you hadn't eaten McDonald's and you hadn't, had a car accident and had all the things that happen. So what Ayurveda has done for me and what it does for my clients is it allows them to really like pull back some of those layers and learn to trust themselves and rely on their innate wisdom in a way that's different than most other medical systems. It's more of it's an internal change. So that was the very first root of my foundation is how do I get back into balance?
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The second thing that I found was the power of breathing, voicing. And so that sounds really like lovely. We can breathe and we can voice and that makes us feel good, but there's science behind this and it relates to the nervous system, the vagus nerve in particular. And so my education is as a speech language pathologist, and I've spent 20 years helping people who can't swallow and can't voice. And so my understanding of the nervous system is a little different than maybe the standard breathwork practitioner. And so really just learning that my breathing and my voicing was so critical to healing and just being able to stay steady. I'm only 6 months out from this loss, right? Only 6 months out. So it's not even about like, oh, are you recovered? Are you healed? It's like, can I be steady? Can this vessel sustain these rocky waters and show up? Can I still show up for my stepson? Can I still show up for the people I love, for my mother?
And when we talk about the power of breath work, when you're working with your clients or even yourself, so during this time, is there certain things that you do every morning?
Yes. So key breath work for me, now in the early days, it was literally like, just take a breath. I had to just remind myself, okay, take a breath. But now that the waters have settled some, I do circular breathing every single day. And it's as simple as let the inhale melt into the exhale and don't pause.
Can we do
that? And I
that?
do it until I feel like I don't want to do it anymore.
Can we do that together?
Yeah. So put your hand on your belly.
Okay. All right.
And so just get comfy. And I want you to inhale deeply and don't pause and exhale deeply. And we're going to go through a few cycles.
Are we breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth?
Nose the whole time.
Nose the whole time. Nose
the whole time. Inhale deeply. Exhale deeply. No pausing. Keep going. Inhale deeply. Exhale deeply. No pausing. And just notice what your body does. Keep moving through that cycle. Inhaling and exhaling, and notice any shifts in your body and keep breathing a couple more times. And what I know, and I'm going to let you keep breathing, what I know about this is that every 90 seconds, the nervous system can reset. Doesn't take a lot. One more. How'd that feel?
Oh, great for a Monday morning. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's key too. Sometimes we hear to do different kind of breathing work and whatnot, but I think if you're not in the field and you haven't ever been directed, you might think that that means, or,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's different types of breathing.
Yeah.
And I noticed that from different people I've had on the show, when you're trying to get your body into different patterns of doing that. So I think that that's great. So that's something you could do every morning when you wake up for about 90 seconds.
Yes, at least 90 seconds. If you want to go longer, but 90 seconds is a wonderful, good rule of thumb just to get your nervous system kind of reset.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Breath work. All right.
Yeah. The third thing, Tammy, that was foundational for me was really acknowledging slow, steady change, the critical need for slow, steady change, and the critical need to put our own well-being and our own mental health on the forefront. And I think specifically for your people who come here, they're here to understand different diagnoses and different needs and differences. And most of those people are stressed, and most of those people are caretakers. Caretakers often do not put themselves first. I have just learned this over the years. I've been in front of thousands of people, and caregivers are the first ones to say, well, I can't do breath work because I have to pay for my kids' therapy, and I have all these appointments, and I have all these things. And so really just making that shift in mindset to do, even if it's one tiny thing a day, over time, the accumulation of that is much more impactful than, say, I'm going to go to a breathwork retreat, which is beautiful too. I love breathwork retreats, but really the long-lasting change occurs when you do small cumulative practices.
Right, on a daily basis. Because, we've talked about that a lot on the show. Sometimes when we talk about self-care and self-love and taking that moment, people think it's such a big thing they need to do. I need to go away for a week. I need to do this or that. It can be that 5 moments. 5 seconds.
Correct. Yeah. Well, and again, from the person who lived a stressful life, when you are raising children or living with a family and doing all these things, Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga, but I'm not a yogi living in a cave in the Himalayan mountains, right? I am a practical businesswoman in rural West Virginia. And it's not practical necessarily to go do that. So yes, just tiny changes over time, small steps, and that small practical things that you can do day after day. Mm-hmm.
And before we wrap up for the day, would there be one practice, like every morning or every night before individuals go to bed, that you could pass along, or words of wisdom, as we talk about, ancient Indian medicine, words of wisdom that every morning or night could be something simple, like the 90 seconds of breathing? Are there any other things that individuals could do?
There is, and this just came to mind. So I believe that every single person here is living a compassionate and caring life. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to do that, you're going to encounter stress, you're going to encounter resistance, and you have to build resilience. So one practical thing, and people hate this recommendation, but it is so helpful, is to have a journal. If you don't want to journal, get a scrap of paper, and before you go to bed every night, set a timer, journal for 7 minutes, and just write down all the frustrations that you have through the day, all the stuff that just worked you up throughout the day, and don't reread it. Don't go back and dissect it. Don't burn it. Take that scrap of paper and get rid of it. Literally burn the paper. One tiny thing a day, set aside 7 minutes. Don't let your pen leave the paper, and just be frustrated. The one rule is don't turn that frustration on yourself.
Right. So
don't say, I'm frustrated with me. Purge it.
Purge it. Get rid of it.
Yeah. And then burn it. Send it into the ethers. Burn it. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, Erin, if people want to learn more and they want to learn more about you and get connected, what is the best way for them to do that?
So I'm on Instagram at erin.l.browning. That is where I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook at EB Spaces of Gray. My website is erin-browning.com. And I do have a mini course that goes over the constitution types in Ayurveda. So it's really very practical, chock full of information. And I have a discount code for your listeners. And so that if they go to my website and look at the mini course, they can type in on air and they'll get a 10% off coupon for the mini course. It's affordable and it's a great starting point. And if you really want the good stuff, message me and we can do one-on-one work, because that is really where the shifts occur, is once you dig deep.
I love it. I love it. When we log off the show today, would you do me a favor and just head on over to Facebook or YouTube and just drop some of those links below?
Absolutely.
Just super simple for people to go through. And if they don't catch the very end, at least they know that there is that promotion for them to take care to take to be able to give advantage of. See, it's a Monday morning when I can't find my words. Take advantage of.
Take a breath. That's all you have to do, Tammy. Take a breath.
I'm going to do that 90 seconds of breathing again when we log off the show.
I like it.
For the Monday morning. So yes, just drop that below. But Erin, I thank you for being here bright and early this Monday morning, sharing with our audience. Mental health and mental wellness is something that needs to be done every day. I'm so happy, as I'm sure you are too, at the push within our world now to get rid of the stigma and realize that we all need this.
Yeah, we're all going to hit times where it's crucial. So be proactive.
Yes. Love it. Well, thank you very much again, Erin, for joining us here this morning on the On Air Advocate. And if you guys want to know any more about the On Air Advocate and the tools and resources that we have to offer, you can head on over to onairadvocate.com. With that, everybody have a fabulous Monday. And thank you so much again, Erin. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks, Tammy.